My friends, there are serious indications that Ukraine might pull out of Bakhmut. Let's zoom into the settlement. Right, the city of Bakhmut, and this small river here is called Bakhmutka River. You can see it's written also here. As much as I know, the only major bridge across this river in Bakhmut is here, this one right here. And we have a video of Ukrainian forces blowing up that bridge. Now, they wouldn't blow that bridge up if they still would have forces on eastern Bakhmut, this side, eastern side of the river, so we can only assume they have pulled out of the eastern Bakhmut, leaving 1/3, this area, 1/3 of Bakhmut under Russian control. So Ukrainians, right now, we can assume control this part of Bakhmut. The official Ukrainian stance and the orders on the ground in Bakhmut state that there is no plan to pull out as of yet. Ukrainian forces are holding, Bakhmut is holding. It's getting very close because, as we talked in the previous video, this line here, the line of retreat, the gap for retreat is 4 kilometers wide only. A very narrow gap, and in its entirety it's affected by Russian artillery. Ukrainians have gone all into Bakhmut because they have sent even more reinforcements into the city, although some analysts would advise to leave the city by now. But now we zoom out and we go to Moscow Oblast. This here is Moscow, and on this map it doesn't show the city or any villages around it. In the last video I mentioned the Ukrainian drone that flew from Ukraine to Kolomna, which is around here somewhere. We can see it's 450 kilometers away, almost 460. Well, that was 2 days ago. The drone didn't connect to anything, it fell on a field. Yesterday, Ukraine sent a Tu-141 missile there. This is a Soviet-made missile that has a very big explosive warhead on it, and there was an explosion. So we can assume that the first cheap, small drone was to test Russian air defenses. It flew over Kursk, Oryol, Tula Oblast and Moscow Oblast, and the Russian air defense did not react, and the small drone was put to the ground. Now they sent the big guy, Tu-141. They knew the air defense wouldn't react, and it connected to the target. We have a large explosion made by Ukraine very close to the capital of Russia. Ukraine does not have many of these Tu-141 missiles left. Actually, they have very few of them left. But we mustn't worry because Ukraine has proven that they can hit targets deep inside Russia with something else. We don't know what it is. My friends, over a very long period of time I have accepted a sponsor. So in this video we have a sponsor. Be smart, don't start. And put it out before it puts you out. All phrases we've heard 100 times before, yet we still continue to do bad habits. My sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from negative habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. Fume is not a vape. It is a non-electronic diffusive device designed to transform your negative habits. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses cores infused with peppermint and cinnamon for delicious natural flavors. Fume's new version 2 model is snappy and tactile. With adjustable airflow dial and magnetic end cap, your fingers will always have something to do. When I edit my videos, I always want something to fiddle around with my fingers. My hands are always searching for something to touch and play with. Fume is perfect for me. I don't like plastic, I like wood and metal. This is made out of wood and metal, so this gives my fingers always something to fiddle with when I'm working. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is perfectly designed just for that. It's Fume's goal to make switching easy and even enjoyable. They have thousands of 5-star reviews from people just like you who have successfully switched when other solutions just didn't work. Head to tryfume.com/Estonian or scan the QR code and use the code Estonian to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors and the version 2 Fume to help kickstart your positive habits. That's tryfum.com and use the code Estonian to get 10% off your order today. Dated on March 2, this is the Magyar update from Bakhmut, and he states that his birds, his drone crew, has been pulled out of Bakhmut. This shows something. The official info is that Ukraine is not going to retreat from Bakhmut or leave Bakhmut, but then we get this video. Let's watch it together and see what we make of it.
Сьогодні, 2 березня посеред ночі підрозділ «Птахи Мадяра» отримав бойове розпорядження негайно вибути з Бахмуту до нового місця бойових дій. Які причини переводу в момент критичний для Бахмуту, коли ми провели тут 110 днів бойових чергувань? Я перш за все військовий і тому не коментуватиму накази командування оборони Бахмуту. Я собі і вам обіцяв не займатися політикою. В армії немає і не може бути політики. В цій війні я був, є і буду комунікатором. Комунікатором на прикладі відносин між звичайним підрозділом аеророзвідки та вами, українці. Навіщо? Тому що ви надаєте необхідну підтримку, щоб були очі і працювало жало. Виконуємо наказ.
If the drone crews are pulled out of Bakhmut, that might indicate that Ukraine is starting to prepare to pull out everything, but of course infantry and armor will be the last to be pulled out, and of course these drone crews will be the first. To the moment where entire Ukrainian force pulls out of Bakhmut, it might take more time. And if they do it, we won't find out about it until it's done. I mean, it will be done efficiently, quickly and quietly. If we would find out that it is being done at this moment, then Russians would know this. This would be very problematic. So Ukrainians would do everything, of course, to make it look like they're not pulling out and then pull out fast and quickly. And honestly, I can say we can expect that any day. You can get the news any day that Ukraine has left Bakhmut, because this is the same thing to do military-wise right now. Bakhmut is in serious danger of being encircled, and Ukraine then might lose a lot of troops and armor. Russia lost an Su-34, which was shot down near Yenakiyevo, Donetsk region. At a decently slow rate, Russians are losing fighters and bombers over Ukraine. As soon as they cross into Ukrainian airspace, they will be shot down, guaranteed. They don't want to cross, but under Gerasimov's new, more aggressive offensive tactics, they're trying to use more air force, and boom, they're losing more aircraft. Russia has still a lot of fighters and bombers left. But remember, these planes are expensive, and they cannot produce any more of them. They have what they have. Over a very long period of time, lastly I watched these videos in summer, we're gonna watch a drone video. It's a loitering munition, and it connects to the Russian T-72. So right now it is loitering, right? Hovering above the battlefield, searching for a target, or maybe it knows the target already and is closing in on it. This is near Donetsk region, of course. The battle is going on down. You can see the fighting. Alright, circling to the target. And dashing down. Boom, there's the tank. It's difficult to see. And it cuts off. Let's go back. See, it cuts off here and it hit the back of the tank. I'm sure this loitering munition is not big enough to just explode the tank to the oblivion. But I think it will be big enough to take out this engine block, even damage it slightly, and the tank will be immobile. And it's an active battle zone. I mean, if this tank cannot move, it's lost. They cannot retrieve it, they cannot repair it. So, tank knocked out cold. In this video, we see Prigozhin, who claims the city of Bakhmut is surrounded by Wagner. It is very important because the city of Bakhmut is almost surrounded. It's not surrounded. And secondly, it's almost surrounded by Russian regular army units, Wagner units, Mobiks, and the Signed Forces VDV. It's four kind of different forces. Prigozhin, being in an active confrontation with the Russian Ministry of Defense and Gerasimov and Shoigu, claims that Wagner is surrounding Bakhmut. It is very much in his interests that Russian people see that Wagner is doing this. He needs this popularity for the future fight that is coming in between Wagner and Gerasimov, Wagner and Shoigu. Let's watch the video.
Президенту Украины Владимиру Александровичу Зеленскому. Уважаемый Владимир Александрович, подразделения ЧВК «Вагнер» практически окружили Бахмут. Осталась одна дорога. Клещи сжимаются. Если раньше с нами воевали...
Honestly, he seems drunk to me. I don't know about you. What do you say? Does he seem drunk? For me, he seems drunk.
Профессиональная украинская армия, то сегодня мы видим все больше стариков и детей. Они бьются, но жизнь у них под Бахмутом коротка. День-два. Дайте возможность им покинуть город. Город фактически окружен.
So this is obviously a very big propaganda stunt. I mean, they have found some young teenagers, some youngsters and an old man, and they might be Ukrainian prisoners of war. You never know. They might be just civilians. It doesn't really matter because it's a propaganda stunt. The point is why Wagner is doing these videos is to be stated in the Russian state of mind as a force that changes things on the battlefield, as a force they can trust, as a force that can do things. And he is discrediting the Russian Ministry of Defense by claiming that he and his forces are surrounding Bakhmut. He never mentions Russian forces, and the Russian Ministry of Defense never mentions Wagner anymore. This is their infight. This is their active confrontation. This will turn into something very big. Not now, but in the future. Look at this. This is Normandy before the D-Day landings. Germans have dug these Oh no, my God, no, this is Crimea. This is what Russia is doing now, in Crimean beaches. Yeah, honestly, on the sand, on the beaches, they're digging these trenches. It's not Normandy, it's not 1940s. It's 2023. And they're expecting Ukrainian landing from the sea. Ukraine does not have these capabilities. It doesn't look like they will get any of these capabilities. And Russia is doing this. For me, this shows panic and fear. That's the same place on the ground.
Вот так берег моря, блядь, укрепляют, блядь. Никакая это не реконструкция, набережная, блядь, тут.
This is Crimea.
Смотри, блядь. Хуярят как, блядь. Вот это, блядь. И о каком сезоне в Крыму, блядь, говорить, нахуй. Как курортник попадет на море, если тут, блядь, все вот так вот 200 километров от таких окопах, блядь.
Russia is digging a trench line on the entire coastline of Crimea. They're expecting a Ukrainian landing there. That gives us an idea of the Russian mindset in the military, what decisions they make. They're afraid. They don't know what to defend anymore.
Это ж пиздец.
And this is incredibly expensive, actually.
Вот так вот туда, хуй знает куда все это идет, блядь. Вот это все, весь Крым так, блядь, западный.
That means Ukrainian information war, information ops, that everyone, Zelensky and every official is talking about the inevitability of taking back Crimea and how it is being planned out already. It has an effect. Russia is pouring resources into fortifying Crimea, which is taking resources away from Ukraine. That is the effect of the information war. And I'm not saying information war is something fake. Of course, Ukraine will take back Crimea. They talk about it now, so Russia would focus somewhere else. Very effective. In New Delhi G20 summit, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov did this.
You know, the war which we are trying to stop and which was launched against us using Ukraine.
Everybody's laughing. I mean, he got a laughter out of that when he claimed that Russia was attacked through Ukraine. This guy lives in illusions. Putin lives in illusions. The entire higher up of the Kremlin lives in illusions. I didn't include it at the beginning because I wanted to put the Madyar video, but now we have Kianin. Although he's not in Bakhmut anymore. I know you guys really like him, I also like him. He's not in Bakhmut, but we're still gonna watch.
Вітання, Україна. Сьогодні 3 березня. Що можна констатувати по ситуації в Бахмутській конгломерації? Тяжкі бої і вдень, і вночі, суїцидальні атаки, там вже по стільки штурмів за добу, я вже не кажу, що артилерія повністю.
I can only imagine the more closer Russians get to the surrounding of Bakhmut, the more suicidally and maniacally they will start to attack to finally get that goal of taking something, taking some city, because they have lost so much area in the fall last year. Russian propaganda really need this victory. It's a political victory and military victory. They really need it and they cling to it. But the point is, if they get it, they would have exhausted almost all of their capabilities. It's not worth it for the Russian army, but they are asphyxiated.
Там розбирає місто із цивільним населенням, і з усім. Рештки вагнерів смішані вже там із десантниками, і з тими їхніми стрілковими обморками. Всі намагаються лізти, всі намагаються продавити наші позиції під мінометами, під артою, зразу піхотні атаки. Але наразі скажу так, те пекло, що там відбувається, в Тік-Токі не розкажеш. Військові його і так знають, цивільним воно і не потрібне. Цю картинку, ніяке відео ти не передать, навіть якщо ти будеш з окопа знімати, і ви будете всі його дивитися. Це краще не переживати і не бачити його. Якщо коротко, по півночі ситуація найбільш складна, південний схід, південь більш-менш, скажімо так, трошки легше, але не сильно. Тим паче, наші підрозділи, наша мужня піхота тримає лінію оборони, арта допомагає, міномети, ГС, вогнева підтримка. Все здійснюється, БПЛА коригує вогонь, ударні безпілотники працюють, сили спеціальних операцій працюють, подекуди задіяна наша авіація, наша артилерія.
Bakhmut is very strange because there's everything there. There is special forces, there is infantry, there is mobilized, there's prisoners, there's Russian special forces, artillery, tanks, aviation, drones. Everything this war has is in Bakhmut on both sides. Ukrainian special forces are also present. Both sides are right now fixated on this point. Ukraine keeping Bakhmut and Russia occupying Bakhmut.
З Бахмутом зрозуміло, там тяжко, але Бахмут під українським прапором, Бахмут тримається. Друзі, інформаційні вкиди, і в тому числі і з нашими військовими, які останнім часом АЙПСО застосовує цієї, країни, недолюдків, має на меті посіяти паніку у наших людей, для того, щоб наше населення, цивільне населення давило на військове керівництво із метою виведення наших військ із Бахмута. Так я вам скажу так, в Бахмуті ми, звичайно, несемо втрати, ми за них ніколи не говоримо, і це логічно, і причини зрозумілі. Але ворог несе набагато більші втрати. Там 1 до 70 на різних ділянках, в залежності, чи це міські бої, чи це там в полі бої відбуваються. Тому їм немає чим похвастатися, військових успіхів в Бахмуті немає. І тому вони в медійному полі розганяють цю дурну паніку. Друзі, не ведіться, ви ж українці. Аналізуйте інформацію, перевіряйте джерела інформації. Не будьте дурними, не розносьте оці сплетні, оцю паніку. Це війна, і втрати будуть, поки ми їх не переможемо.
Now we're going to economics. At the first year of war, we talked more about Russian economics and Ukrainian economics, and now we have mostly focused on the military aspect of this war. But I go back to it. India is buying a record amount of Russian oil for the 3rd month in a row. And the weird point is, India is exporting petroleum products to US and EU. So it's buying raw oil from Russia, making them into petroleum products and exporting them. So EU and US have no choice but to buy Russian oil products, just they are refined in another country. Discounted Russian oil now makes up about 35% of India's total crude imports. Before Russia invaded Ukraine, that percentage was only 1%. So it's up 35 times for India. Now bear in mind, India buys Russian oil at a very high discount. India and China combined would not come even close to the European prices that Europe paid to Russia. They won't pay these prices. So Russian profit margins are extremely small, if any. Russia owes a lot of money to China. So they kind of give them the oil. If you add up all the numbers, there's no profit or it's extremely minimal. And same with India. India and China are almost the only countries in the world now buying Russian oil. And India is the biggest buyer of seaborne Russian oil. My friends, when I was in Ukraine at the beginning of February, I made an interview with this Ukrainian soldier Artem, and we had a great time talking. He made a video to you.
Hello guys, it's Artem from Odin Unit, and recently I have met with Artur and we sat down for a very interesting interview piece. You can find a link down in the description. And thanks everyone from abroad for the constant support of Ukraine and its people.
Why I was in Ukraine? Because I joined the 69th Sniffing Brigade of NATO to deliver trucks to the armed forces of Ukraine and to gather money for the next convoy of trucks. And you guys donated 65,000 euros, out of which 4 trucks will be bought. 2 of them are actually already in Ukraine. 2 of them will be delivered. Here is a video of 38th Marine Brigade that has a truck that you paid for.
Hi, we are 38th Marine Brigade, and we want to thank Artur Rehi YouTube channel viewers for this truck. Now we can do our combat task in Bakhmut area more effectively. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
My friends, I'll now read you 5 Patreon names, tier 10 and above. Before I read them, I want to tell you that from March, this month, and it's already going, tier 10 and above will get their names read out, and they will also get daily military blog in Patreon. So check my Patreon every day to find out what's going on in Ukraine on the battlefield. It's short enough to be a 5-minute read, but long enough to have everything I talk about in my videos and even more. So tier 10 and above, you'll get the military blog. Rosalind Guineau, Joshua Patske. Joshua became the biggest Patreon I had in years, so Joshua, I appreciate you. Nico, Adam Sandland, Jochen Franti. Thank you to each and every one of these Patreons. If you want your daily military blog, head on to the Patreon, become a tier 10 or above, and enjoy the read. Until my next video, my friends, Slava Ukraini.